Welcome to week 9 preview here on College Football Time with Avery Miguel. I am Miguel Mike Medina. This is my partner Avery Jones. Avery, unexpectedly, you're wearing Navy and I'm wearing Army. They're not playing this weekend, but now that we have this going on, we should definitely do that for that particular weekend. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Definitely want to rep the service school. Like I said, I did want to go to Annapolis. My best friend and cousin served in the Navy. I'm very strong proponent of definitely giving a shout out to our service men and women, those who have served our country. We're definitely proud of you.
Amen to that. We're very proud and very grateful for our servicemen and women who have sacrificed for our country, our nation. So when I thought to myself, I'm like, what can I wear today? I was like, let me wear this army hoodie. I haven't worn it in a long time. So I threw it on. I'm like, we're doing a preview, and then for you to wear your Navy one. And like we spoke before we logged in, I was looking at Navy sweatshirts and things like on Fanatics.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely gotta buy one. But yeah, um, salute to our servicemen and women. Avery, number 3 Texas A&M versus number 20 LSU. Exciting matchup. Texas A&M, they're 2.5 favorites in this game, I believe. But this game could go either way. That's how I look at it. This game could go either way. LSU definitely will be coming in very pissed off after losing last week. Texas A&M and their defense, they're hungry, they're tenacious. Both teams have good defensive teams, but if I had to pick one, I'm gonna go with the Aggies on this one. I have them winning 28 to no. I have them winning 23 to 21.
No, I agree with you. This is going to be a good game for both teams. You have Texas A&M ranked third. You have LSU after that loss last week. They want to salvage anything they can, and of course, I've said it before. You know these conference games mean a lot. So LSU is going to bring everything they can to Texas A&M. They're going to see if Texas A&M makes mistakes. They want to capitalize on those mistakes. LSU is very hungry right now. We're probably about four to 5 weeks until the end of the season, and LSU definitely wants to make any kind of statement they can. Texas A&M doing really well. Another team kind of under the radar, probably because everybody's talking about Texas. They're kind of forgetting about Texas A&M. And I think that is working well in Texas A&M's favor because and I've said it before, if you're not giving schools their much due respect, their much due props, if you will, then that's just fuel for the school. I think this game is going to be close. Like you said, only 2.5 favorites for the Aggies. I'm going to go a little higher score. I think both schools' defenses are going to try and keep it low scoring, but I think in the second half it's going to be broken wide open, and those offenses are going to take control. So I'm going to go with the Aggies 30 and LSU 28.
Speaking of Texas, we have Texas Longhorns versus Mississippi State. Texas, even though they're an elite defensive team, they have a great run defense. The offensive line is a problem for them this season so far. Mississippi State is not so efficient when it comes to getting to a quarterback. Um, I mean, this could be a potential upset alert, but I just don't think that it will be enough for them to beat Texas. I feel like it will be kind of like a close but no cigar kind of situation. So I have Texas winning this game 27 to 20.
Yeah, I agree with you. Mississippi State has had some really good chances this season to try and knock off some of their conference opponents. But I'm glad you mentioned the offensive line. If there is one absolute pet peeve I I I I have when it comes to football, college football and professional football, it is an offensive line. Gentlemen, that is your job. your job is to protect the quarterback. When I see quarterbacks being sacked 6 and 7 times, I'm looking at that offensive line. Now I can see if a defense is, rushing that offensive line, if they're overpowering that offensive line. But if it is just straight, you're not protecting your quarterback, it is going to have a detrimental effect on your offensive production. And Texas offensive line, they're not doing a very good job, but in certain circumstances, they're doing the job when it needs to be done. But they need to be more consistent. The more teams get to Arch Manning, the more he's going to have a tendency to make mistakes. So that Texas offensive line needs to get it together. They need to get it on the same page. And Mississippi State, that defense is going to take advantage of that. So I think look for Mississippi State, have those cowbells come out, and they're going to try and aggravate that offensive line to kind of force Arch Manning to make some passes he may not need and take advantage of those sacks. But again, like I said, Texas trying to get some momentum going. Mississippi State could stop it. After the game last week with Kentucky, granted, Texas won, but it should have been a more decisive win. And this is what Texas needs. They need a decisive win this week. I'm going to go with Texas, but I'm going to keep it close. I'm going to keep it like I'm going to keep it like a touchdown for the Longhorns. I'm going to give the win to Texas 27 and Mississippi State 20.
Iowa State versus BYU. This is a very dangerous game for BYU. The game is at 3:30 on Saturday. I feel that Iowa State, yes, even though their secondary is banged up with injuries, but they are coming off a bye week, so I feel that that will help them out a lot in this game. BYU, they just finished coming off of a very physical, tough game against Utah, but I feel that Iowa State is capable of handing BYU their first loss of the season. So I'm going with BYU on a game-winning field goal, 30-27.
Oh, I'll agree with you there, and I'll also, as is my tradition this season, I'm calling this an overtime game. Iowa State, teams coming off a bye, it can work in their favor, but it can also be detrimental. But I think Iowa State is going to try their darndest to get at that BYU front line. And they are going to want to rush BYU to have them make mistakes. BYU sitting in prime position right now. They're 11. They're playing some really good football. They're playing some really disciplined football. They've had a couple of games where they could have lost, or they just kept it really close but didn't run away with it. I think this is BYU's chance to get that offense raring to go, try to take advantage of it and just not let their foot off the gas. I'm going to go with BYU as well. I'm going to give them a little more points for this one, but I'm gonna go with this for overtime though. I'm gonna go BYU 24, Iowa 22.
This next one is one of my favorite matchups of the weekend, and it's a high noon game. Ole Miss versus Oklahoma. Both teams are 6-1. Ole Miss, who just finished coming off of a very tough loss, very hard fought game against Georgia. They're going up against Oklahoma, a team that again is not going to be easy. I think that this will be a close game. I have Ole Miss winning this one 35-32.
I like that score. I like that score. I'm gonna agree with you, and then again, I'm calling overtime. Ole Miss needs this. They played a really, really physical game against Georgia, even though their defense didn't do what would have been expected of them. I think their defense this time is going to try a little bit harder, but anything once the offenses get ready to go, the game is probably going to get out of control later and that score is going to run up. But I'm going to agree with you on this one. I'm going to go 35-32 for Ole Miss. I'm calling it overtime. Ole Miss needs this win. After that game against Georgia, they need it. Oklahoma needs this win as well, but I think the Rebels, they're just more hungry. They're just more hungry. Granted, I don't think Oklahoma's going to be a pushover. I think the start of that game is going to get real physical. Both teams know they need this win to keep pace in that playoff conversation. But again, going into overtime, giving it to Ole Miss 35-32.
Another game that excites me that is also at 12 o'clock, and that is South Florida versus Memphis. I feel like that one is going to be a heavyweight fight, a high scoring game. This is one of those games that could go either way, but I'm going to stick with South Florida on this one. 41-37.
Yeah, I think this could be a high scoring game too. Memphis was running on all cylinders and then they got upset. And it's kind of in the back of their mind, like, kind of what went wrong. But again, said it earlier in the season, South Florida, you have got to be careful of these teams that are not being talked about. If they're flying under the radar, if, the so-called experts and analysts are not giving, you know, props to, a really good football team playing really well, which is what South Florida has been doing this entire season. It's just fuel for the team. And I think this is going to work in South Florida's favor. And I think they're aware of the danger that Memphis holds, especially earlier in the season. They were one of the first teams to be bowl eligible. So the South Florida Bulls, they're gonna come to Memphis. They are going to respect uh, the game that Memphis is playing. They're going to take advantage of any mistakes that they can draw from Memphis. I'm going to have this on a bit of a more low scoring affair. I am going to give it to South Florida. I think it's going to be a bit close because I think Memphis is just going to keep pace with South Florida, and I'm going to go with South Florida 24, Memphis 20.
Last but not least, and then we'll throw out some honorable mentions, but this last one, and this game will be at 3:30. Number 15, Missouri versus number 10, Vanderbilt. And I believe that this game will come down to stopping the run. Stopping the run. Can Missouri, some way, somehow, slow down that tenacious, never quit Diego Pavia? He can be a pest. So can you slow him down? Because he's very tough to bring down. He'll scramble. He'll find some sort of way of finding an open guy and then go for a run. So it's gonna come down to who's gonna win which defense is gonna win the slowing down the run game. So that's how I look at it for this particular matchup. Who do I think will win this game? Oof. Ugh. I also have it a tie game. I'll be honest with you. Another tie game. I don't see a blowout with this one whatsoever. I'll be shocked, but not a blowout. I'm gonna give the edge to Vanderbilt 24-21.
Yeah, I like it. I was hoping we would mention this game, if not through our regular schedule, but definitely an honor mention. Both teams have been playing really good football. Missouri's lost against Alabama a couple weeks ago, only by a field goal, but they kept tabs with the Crimson Tide. And again, Missouri Vanderbilt, another couple of schools that are just flying under the radar. As content creators, we probably follow other content creators. If you are a fan of SEC shorts or or if you're a fan of Matt Wheeler, they do some really good stuff that involves SEC schools. And both these individuals' takes on Missouri and Vanderbilt are very good to watch right now because it's like they're aware that they could be like any school. If you're not paying attention and you hit them on the schedule and you're not giving them respect, they are just going to run all over you. But I think Missouri and Vanderbilt know that they are good football teams. And I think they know they have really great run games, and I think they both know that they have to stop each other's run game. So I look for this game to not be a blowout. I hope it's not a blowout. I think both teams are equally matched. And I'm going to give the edge to Vanderbilt on this one, but a small one. I'm going to keep it kind of a medium scoring game. I'm going to give the edge to Vanderbilt 24-25. I think this game is going to go back and forth. I think this game is going to go back and forth. And when the game is over, I think we're going to look at those run stats, and I think they're probably going to be even. But at the same time, at some point, that run game is going to stall and then pick up for either school.
Honorable mention, 12 p.m. Northwestern versus Nebraska. Both teams are 5-2. So quickly, I'm gonna say Nebraska to win that game, probably 26-18 or 26-21. So that's an honorable mention right there. And the other one, it's a rivalry game, Michigan versus Michigan State. Although Michigan State, it hasn't been quite the season for them, but it could be a potential blowout. And the Wolverines, I'll give the Wolverines the victory for that one. It can be a blowout, but if they can make it interesting, then that would be great. And that game will be at 7:30.
Yeah, I have a couple of honor mentions too. One, Wisconsin, Oregon. That's going to be a 7 o'clock game. Wisconsin's pesky. Wisconsin's pesky, and they could do something big going into Oregon with a possible upset. But I think Oregon is just, they're running on all cylinders after their loss to Indiana, and they're just going to want to get back in the saddle. I think Wisconsin's going to give Oregon a bit of trouble, but I think Oregon's going to take this. I'm going to go with Oregon 30, Wisconsin 24. Another one is Boston College and Louisville. Louisville did what is possibly I thought they could do, beating Miami last week. So they want to keep it going. They want to keep all that momentum going, especially again in conference. So I'm going to go with Louisville on this one. I think they're going to take control right out of the gate. I'm going to give them a couple of scores over Boston College. So I'm going to give Louisville the win, 25, Boston College, 17.
Well, guys, that does it for this week's preview for week 9. I hope you guys enjoy this Saturday of college football games. We have a lot of intriguing matchups. Avery, this was fantastic. Hopefully, we continue to see amazing games, potential upsets. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. Also, Navy is playing Florida Atlantic. So there you go. So there's another one. Navy over Florida Atlantic. No score needed. Just Navy over Florida Atlantic.
Salute to Navy, salute to Army, Air Force, or our servicemen and women. We can't stress that enough. We are very appreciative of all of you guys. Well, guys, although today's Thursday, but we premiere the previews on Fridays at 11 a.m. Just for all of you guys who will be tuning in. So previews every Friday, 11 a.m. and recaps Mondays at 4 or 7 p.m. Eastern time, but definitely on Mondays, the recap. So Avery, let's enjoy college football Saturday.
Absolutely. College football college football has been nice to us this year. Actually, football in general this season has been very good because we are confused coming out of the weekend. It seems like every weekend we are absolutely confused, and I think that's very good for college football and football in general right now, especially as fans. But another good weekend for college football. Let's all enjoy it. Let's be safe. Remember, like, subscribe, notification bell.